Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my shop. Today is September 23rd and this is my weekly shop update. So I'm back from my trip to the UK and I have this chair along with me. So making this chair was an absolutely incredible experience. When I got there on the first day and I saw this model and a lot of the other models, I had absolutely no idea how it all came together, or how it all worked. I couldn't visualize how it came together. But after making this one chair, I could look at all the chairs there, not even the ones in the same style, and see exactly how they went together and how I'd be able to execute all the weird ankle joinery, which actually wasn't as mysterious as I thought it was going to be. It was a lot easier and a lot more simple than I really thought, which was pretty cool. And I did it all with hand tools. So let me show you a closer look at the chair, and then I'll give you an update on where I'm at with the HIGHBOY. So probably the biggest thing about making this chair was the fact that I knew, since this was my first chair, it wasn't going to be the most perfect thing. It was going to have a lot of flaws, and especially because I was doing it all with hand tools, a lot of things I'd never used before, I knew it wouldn't be perfect from that as well. So I didn't want to spend my whole time there sitting in my little corner trying to get my chair absolutely perfect. So I kind of flew through things a little bit just to try and get this thing produced so I can get through the steps and really understand the process. And that's where I wanted to focus my attention, was understanding the process, not so much the actual woodworking, because I knew that when I got back here, I'd probably want to make another chair, which I do. I'm probably not going to make it all with hand tools. So just understanding the whole process is what was really important to me. And I have to tell you, this was extremely challenging for me. The spindle turning, especially, as I showed last week on the reciprocal lathe with the treadle and the pole, when you're making that interrupted cut, is extremely hard to get a consistent finish. And the whole challenge at the class was that everything was done with hand tools and there was no sandpaper or any kind of cleanup work allowed, which is kind of a running joke because you can take it home and do whatever you want to it. But at the class, the whole idea was off the tool finish. So my legs, you can actually see all the start and stop points of my chisel work because I'm just not that good. And I'm okay with that because this was just a learning experience for me more than anything. Now, carving the seat was the most fun part of the entire project. It's still a little rough, so that still needs some cleanup as well. And probably the coolest thing was the steam bending. So the back bow here is steam bent. I had seen steam bending done a lot of times in videos. I've never done it myself in person. And I'll tell you, it's a pretty crazy experience because it takes a lot of force to bend that piece of wood around that form, and the fact that it does it without breaking is also extremely incredible. So what I thought was amazing, which Paul pointed out to us, was on this bow here, the distance around the outside varies from the distance around the inside by 3 inches. So that means that in this curve here, from here to here, this wood here has been compressed 3 inches. Blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. So in a few weeks, once I'm done with the HIGHBOY, I'm going to take this thing apart, do all the finishing touches, do the final assembly and all that, and do the finishing and all that. Looking forward to that. And of course, I think I have the chair bug a little bit after that, so I'll probably try to make something a little more complicated than this in the near future. So again, I want to say just a huge thank you to Triton Tools for making this trip possible. I learned a whole lot, and it wouldn't have happened without them. So again, big thank you to them, and make sure you check out their YouTube channel. They'll have a video over there about my entire week building this chair. So on the HIGHBOY this week, I've finished up with the lowercase for now at least. I've added the knee blocks, and the only thing left to do after this point is to come back and add like the drop finials and the drawers, which I'll do all at once when I have the uppercase done. So the knee blocks just kind of blend things from the cabriole leg into the rest of the case, and just kind of gives the eye somewhere to follow as it travels up the leg and then up to the top of the case. And these things, since they're added on, they're very challenging. And it's not the woodworking that's challenging, it's the stock selection that's challenging. The actual making the blocks takes like 10 minutes a block, but finding the right piece of wood can take at least an hour for each one. So what I had was all the cutoffs from when I made my legs. So I had all the same kind of color, And then all I have to do is go through those blocks and pick the right sections of those blocks to make the smaller blocks that fit that part of the knee the best. Because they're added on, you want it to look like the grain was supposed to be like that, or like that was always part of that piece of wood. So that can be a little bit on the challenging side. But overall, I'm really happy with the results that I have as far as the grain matching goes. The grain does flow in the right direction on all of them, and the grain pattern is fairly consistent. So at least that's a plus. So on the bench right now, I have the panels for the upper case. Those are being glued up. So here's the right side, the left side, and then the top and bottom of the case are the maple panels over there. So once these come out of the clamps, these are ready to get dovetailed together for the box. That'll make up the upper case. So that's what I've been up to this week. Let's see what you've been up to. Let's take a look at some viewer projects. First this week is a leafed butternut bowl by Sean. Sean metal leafed the outside of the butternut bowl with silver and treated it with liver of sulfur to create a patina. Sean has a video over on his YouTube channel explaining the entire patination process, so be sure to check that out. Next is a cherry bed by Rob. Rob has been woodworking for a little over a year, and he made this bed from cherry with book-matched walnut panels. The rough lumber was harvested locally and had been air drying for 30 years in a barn. It's all joined with Morrison tenon joinery and finished with de-waxed shellac, followed by 3 coats of armor seal. Next is a walnut slab coffee table by Michael. Michael is 17 years old and has been woodworking for 3 years, and he says this table is his favorite project so far. He stabilized the cracks with epoxy tinted with a pearl white color and used armor seal for the finish. Last this week is a jewelry box by George. George says this box is heavily inspired by my tea chest that I made a few years ago that he watched a gazillion times. George says that making this box was a huge learning experience, and there are quite a number of things he wouldn't mess up if he did it again. It is crazy how fast time goes by. I made that tea box thing like 3 years ago, over 3 years ago. That was my first build video here on YouTube, back in the day. So I think that's about it for this week. Thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments about anything I talked about today or anything here in my shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking.